Let's talk compensation plan, conceptually. I got into, and I shouldn't have, a bit of a debate recently with a prospect relative to styles of compensation plan, where my style is better than your style. And I admit, because I'm still a work in progress, I fell for it and engaged in that debate. Now I could say I won, but no one wins those conversations, no one wins those debates. But I think it's good for you to know and to understand some context as to the types of plans that are out there, and then a measurement tool that I have that I try and repivot those conversations to, particularly with those who think they know. You've got binary plans, which are basically two legs, and you're paid at the level of your greatest incompetence. Sorry for showing my bias there. When you've got two legs, one will go deeper than the other. Binary plans usually pay you at the level of your smallest leg, which forces you to have to work in the area that provides probably the least immediate return. That's a binary plan. You've got matrix plans where you've got, I don't want to say sort of like our entry level, 5 wide, 5 deep, that sort of thing, but think of that in terms of the overarching plan. You've got to fill this matrix, plug little holes. You've got to put this person there because you need them there. All of these sort of arbitrary devices and structures. That's not great for relationships. You're putting people in holes like you're playing Connect 4 or Tic-Tac-Toe or something. I mean, that's not a relationship-driven thing. That's some arbitrary structure-driven thing. Then you've got a breakaway, which is great for building volume. It puts lift under your wings. It builds this volume around teams or groups, if they call it people. Wonderful. But then it's sort of compression by execution, right? You don't get the volume under your wings unless you qualify for it. Then someone does the best thing possible, becomes a manager in their own right, and they take away all their volume from your group, and you're kind of back to square one again at a very fundamental building area. Now I'm showing my bias here, and I'm being a little bit exaggerated. But those are the three kind of plans that are out there. Yeah, there's a unilevel, which is kind of an adaptation of some of these. But those are the plans. How would I describe ours? Well, I would kind of call it a hybrid. It has some of the elements of binary, which allows for rapid growth. It has some of the elements of a matrix, which allows for structure and width and depth, but doesn't require it of you at some arbitrary level. It has team volume, which is a softened version of group volume. Doesn't have the breakaway, takeaway, still gets that lift under your wings. So the way I describe our plan is a hybrid plan. Those that think they know, that piques their interest. And many others claim to be hybrid as well. But we have taken the best of what has proven to work over the decades and incorporated it into our plan, together with some of our own ideas of our own making, which are unique to us, and put them all together. That's how to describe our plan at a macro level to those, again, and I use this wording perfectly, who think they know. But here's the ultimate measure. The ultimate measure of any plan isn't the rules of the game, isn't the 53 pages of small print algebra calculus as to how it all works. The measurement of a plan is how much does it pay. How much of the 100% goes to you and I as the in-the-field business partners. This business, in my opinion, is essentially a partnership. In the building, out of the building. In the field as distributors or members, in the building as employees, we should be working in lockstep and partnership. A partnership of two parties should be, by definition, to be ultimately fair, 50-50. That's about where we're at. Now, it bounces around 48, 53, depending on the month, depending on the market, depending on the maturity level, etc., but it's essentially a 50-50 partnership. Hallelujah, that's right. Any more than that, and the company, here's me saying this, is paying too much. Paying too much to you and I is a short-term proposition. Greedy minds would say, great, I'll take it. But the problem is that doesn't allow enough money for the company to invest in support and research and great products and strong administration and systems and all those things which you and I both need to sustain a residual income over the long term. We take too much in the short term, it leaves the company too skinny. And that means they can't invest for the future, for tomorrow, for our residual income. We take too little, company takes too much. Well, that's obvious. We aren't being paid sufficiently well for growing the business and bringing in the revenues. Great short-term strategy for the company as well, but doesn't work for them long-term. So you find this balance. The other measurement beyond is enough paid out or is it paid out equitably is where does it go? So think of this as a second order equitable payment. Is there enough at the front end to create good income early on, to create those I came in, I made X stories? Yeah, we have that. Is there enough at the back end to create those myths and legends, many of which are, of the large residual income checks for which most people or many people are in this business to build towards? Yes, we do that well. In fact, on that front, we do better than others. When you fully understand the power of the plan at its ultimate personification, we do and can and will produce the largest checks in the industry without having to sell books and tapes and seminars and all the rest of the nonsense that others do because their comp plan doesn't pay enough. And then, do we have enough in the middle? Executive manager, director, senior director, these levels, where you're still hands-on, you're still on the tools, you're still doing, but you're beginning to get some leverage. You're thinking about turning your plan B into a plan A, but you can't quite because you're not quite there. How is that bridge, that gap between activity and residual bridged? We do that well. You notice a lot of the bonuses that we have that help bridge that gap, help move you along. So, ultimate measure, in this hybrid plan, the best of all worlds, does it pay out enough? 50-50 being the ultimate measure, and does it do so equitably, beginning, middle, and end? How the calculus and circles and lines work and all that stuff, great. We can have that conversation on its merits once the people you're chatting with understand those principal concepts. Does it pay enough and does it do so equitably? Now let's get into the mechanics. That's how I describe the comp plan for those who are interested in it at a macro level, or begin to engage in the, well, our plan's the best on the planet. Okay, whatever. I shouldn't have, I try not to, engage too much in that debate because it just doesn't benefit anybody. And the person who wants, the protagonist in that conversation, doesn't want to hear what you have to say. They're trying to lecture you on what they've got. Come back to principles. Does it pay out enough? Does it do so equitably? Does it have the features in the plan that are strengths of the various plans types in the marketplace, melded together with our own personal and unique approaches? Keep the conversation at that level. You may begin to convince them, maybe not now, but in time, as their best-in-class comp plan begins to fall apart. That's how I should have described the comp plan. That's how I usually do. That's my invitation to you in terms of that level of conversation with someone who wants to engage there, and I would add cheekily, thinks they know. Good luck.